I've had no issues with the hydraulic control here. I had to wait for this like a month because of the supply shortage. I do keep this rag here just to make sure that the oil that comes out of this doesn't end up all over the machine, on the tires, on the ground, etc. And for the rear, I actually keep two of these back here because if I have to disconnect the cylinder from these couplers or connect something to this coupler, I at least have some rags and always use more than one. So the 3-in-1 is pretty good. It's good for carrying the equipment to and from. You can put the bucket on the back. The only thing is with the bucket, you have one set of hydraulics dedicated for the tilting of the bucket. However, if you want to use the hydraulic top link, you can't have the grapple function. So if you really wanted to, you could find the correct angle and then use the grapple instead of the top link. But I find it a little frustrating. Maybe they need to put maybe they put another set of fittings back here or something. I don't know. You can put them on the outside. There's definitely enough room over here. You can put both of them for the bucket. The yellow and the red are the tilt of the bucket, and you could put the black and the white over here for the grapple itself if you wanted to use it on the rear. And I need to get a new bracket. This is the electrical coming up from the lights that I've installed. They make another bracket that actually has it fits in between here, and these little cutouts, they have a little grommet. So I've kind of supported that, because if not, this will actually go to the tire and bounce around if this, because this has got a lot of slack in it. So that light turns on whenever you turn on your headlights. So other than that, the hydraulics are pretty nice and tucked in. There is a big bundle of hoses right here for the 3-point that I actually might reroute myself. You can see that nothing's, it just doesn't look good. I'm a little OCD, and my background comes from the heavy equipment industry, so uniformity and making it look like nothing's even there is 90% of what I like for things to look like. So I might take this whole side panel off here to make it easier to get in there to work with the hydraulics. The hydraulic valve for the rear is right here, and there's like a bunch of, there's probably 5 or 6 hoses in there that are just rerouted just crazily. The seatbelt, I think I might have used one time on a steep slope, but I get on and off the machine so many times that it makes it difficult to keep on, to be honest. Cup holder. My insulated Ventrac water jug doesn't fit, so guess what? That's where the seatbelt lives. As far as the seat itself, I find it very comfortable. The armrest, this one on the SDLA lever side, pretty much lives its life right there. The other one may or may not come up or down depending on if I need to get it on and off the machine a lot, but it is cool to have. Another note on the armrest, there is an adjustment here. So you can put this at the right angle, and no matter where you go, it'll go back to it. So just for instance, now I won't go down any further than that. And if I put it back all the other way, now it'll go down until it touches. You can actually get it to touch this, especially when you're sitting on the seat. I don't have the digital slope gauge, mainly because I don't want to hear the beeping. And secondly, this still has a slot cut out for the manual gauge they used to sell with the older machines. The traction control works pretty nice. I had it on 0 when I was trying to use the power rake the first time. I do not suggest it. If you're using anything that needs to interact with the ground, you need to have that on number 4. That puts more weight from the attachment onto the front wheels so that you have traction. The high speed and the low speed is really good. The Rabbit will get you to and from at about, I've only had it up to 9.3 miles an hour. That's as fast as it would go, so 10's close enough. The Turtle only goes about 4.5, almost 4.7. This is the back of the electrical for the fuse box. I've actually never had this fuse box off. Let's see what it looks like inside. Oh, couple of relays, a couple of fuses. Never had any issues with it. Everything so far has been flawless. No electrical issues whatsoever. Watertight. The front weight kit is really nice. It's a good place to put your feet. I find it more comfortable to put my feet up there than it is on the kickstand pegs. The weights themselves are 42 pounds each. I got 2 on this side and 2 on this side, and you can easily take them out by taking out this pin, if it'll come. Slide this one out, and then the weights themselves are ready to come out. Since I've had this, I've never taken it off. Never even, that's actually the first time I've ever taken that pin out. There's no reason to take those off realistically. They add a lot more traction to the front, and if you put something heavy on the back, they will actually help the front of the tractor a little bit. On my tractor and any other Ventrac, I highly recommend to have the duals on it. The duals themselves don't come with the stock kit, but after having run the machine on singles with a full bucket, I can tell you it is nowhere near as stable. It feels very tippy on a single set of wheels. When you put the doubles on, it has no issue. Like, wider is better. The wheels themselves come off really easy. When you unscrew this one, you'll unscrew this all the way, get it loose, and then with the tires in the air, you just take the tire and literally spin it. What'll happen is, hang on, stand by. What'll happen is the entire tire, please focus. Okay, well, there's threads in there. So the entire tire itself will spin off, like unscrew. It'll fall off, and then you're left with the singles. Takes maybe 5 minutes to take all 4 of them off. The foot pedal is very nice to have. I usually will use it to keep going forward, say if I'm tough cutting and I need to put both hands up to protect myself from a limb or something like that, or if I have to turn while, I don't know, multitasking. It's really good to have. Forward is very easy to push. Rearward, however, is in a slightly awkward position, and the pressure to put it down is actually a lot more than I was hoping for. But the forward definitely gets used. Every time I get on the tractor, I use this foot pedal. Speaking of the SDLA lever, I always use this in auto. What this will do is when I move this forward, it'll return to center. If I take this off, if I move this forward, well, it won't do it now, but it'll stay forward. That's good if you have an emergency, you need to get off, or you need to just let out of it. If you just let go of everything, the machine will stop. The parking brake is really nice. It's nowhere near as sensitive as the demo unit that I had, but it comes down and it activates this, which then will tighten up this band clamp. If the brake is on just a little bit and you go to move the machine, it's actually enough to lock up the entire engine. The engine will stall and die. One thing about the rear 3-point, I just found this out. All the functions, this is the top cylinder, up and down. This is the left side hydraulics, so the unused one by the top link. This one is lifting, lowering, and I literally just found this out. Watch this. There's a float. The 3-cylinder Kubota engine, pretty much flawless at this point. No weird vibrations. The alternator's always working. The pressure, the tension on the belt is good. Check that every day. Check the oil every day. It's a really nice little engine. 32.5-ish something horsepower. I don't know how much torque, but you can definitely tell it's got a lot of power. As far as the mods that I've done to it so far, I've put on a canopy. On the canopy, I've actually put on a set of lights. I wasn't offered the canopy when I ordered it. My dealer is, well, uninformed. I put the 2 lights here. I ran the electrical up really nicely along the front to the front light. And I put the switch for the front and the rear, as well as also a dimmer for the rear, because the rear is brighter. I've installed this slow-moving vehicle triangle on the back. I do drive on a county road a little bit to go from one place to another sometimes, so it's kind of needed. I have made a water bottle mount. You've seen this thing flopping all over the place. It's not uncommon for this thing to be laying like that for, I don't know, a whole video and me not notice it. It is what it is. So, as far as cameras, I have this camera mounted right here. This is a Contour Roam, I don't know, oh, it says it right there. Contour Roam 3. They don't make this camera anymore. The company itself went out of business. I have it on this Joby mount. So I could do all sorts of things with it. And this mount itself, I've actually used from something else. I can loosen this up, and I can turn this thing a whole bunch of different ways. So I've actually got 2. I've got another one mounted right there with a wing nut. And that wing nut allows me to just take that off and screw it onto something that's got a hole in it, tighten it down, and I can use this camera for it. And look, you guys are looking at each other. 170-degree angle. Yeah, it works really well. The sound's pretty good. It's kind of muted, which is good. I think there's actually like a bunch of foam inside of it, so it makes it a little bit more doable. Oh, I forgot to tighten up this one. Hold on. Hey, you want to see me set it up? This isn't working. There we go. And basically, that becomes my line of sight. So, that's the camera angle everyone was worrying about, and that's the camera. Going back to the canopy itself, had I known that Ventrac actually had one that was coming out that had lights, as well as a fan, as well as rear lights, and that you could tow it, I probably would have bought it. But I know more than my dealer, and I have to tell them when new products come out. So I got this one from Rhino Hide, I believe. There you go, rhino hide. And I need to actually fix my electrical mounting because those little adhesive pads apparently don't stick to plastic very well. And this box I made myself with my own switches. The little adjustment knob in there is actually a DC voltage regulator. So I can turn it from 0% up to 100%, which will change the voltage to the lights and they get brighter and dimmer.